This week on I Watched This as an Adult Movie Reviews, I give my review of Black Adam, and I also review the 1995 horror comedy Vampire in Brooklyn.
So what would happen if four friends from Best Buy decided to create the greatest podcast in the world? You would get Underground Nerd Nation, of course. We mainly talk about topics related to nerd culture and pop culture, but you never know where our conversations may take us. Like the time we got in a debate over grading scales. You're bound to have a good time with Underground Nerd Nation, so come join the Underground. We got beer and pizza down here.
Black Adam. What have your powers ever given to you? Nothing but heartache.
I was a slave until I died. Then I was reborn a god. My son sacrificed his life to save me. Now, I kneel before no one.
Going on outside when you ain't safe from.
In this world, there are heroes.
I feel the pain in my city wherever I go.
And there are villains. Heroes don't kill people.
Well, I do.
My vision has shown me the future. You have two choices. You can be the destroyer of this world, or you can be its savior. That's up to you.
Behind you!
Did he just catch a rocket?
He got a rocket.
All black everything, you know my fresh coat.
Hello and welcome to episode 122 of I Watched This as an Adult Movie Reviews. I'm your host, Mikkel Ford, and as you heard the Black Adam trailer right there, I will be giving my review of Black Adam as I saw it on Saturday. I saw it on Saturday. Want to give you guys my thoughts on it. I'm just gonna jump right into it. Let's talk about it. I want to say, first off, that I did not like the first 20 minutes of this movie. That is a hell of a way to start the review, but I'm just gonna get that out of the way. I did not like the first 20 minutes of this movie. I thought it dragged for the first 20 minutes. The first half of this movie, I felt like I was watching a Tomb Raider. Like, they even had like a Lara Croft. They even have like a Lara Croft type character in this movie. Like, she's like, cause the beginning of the movie is there's these people going into this tomb, right? And they're going to look for this crown, which is, spoiler alert, that's the MacGuffin of this whole movie. Well, they're going to look for this crown, and like, there's this chick in here, played by this actress, Sarah Shahai. She plays, what's her name? Adriana Tomas. She plays Adriana Tomas, who I know is a a character in DC Comics. She is a character in DC Comics. But here she's like a Tomb Raider. You know, like I said, like she's even dressed like Lara Croft. She's got like the little spaghetti strap tank top on. She's got the high cut booty shorts on. You know, only thing that was missing was guns. That was the only thing that was missing from her. And like she just starts jumping all over the place. And just looking at her, I was like, you know what? She'd be a great Lara Croft. Just looking at her, I was thinking that. I was thinking she would be a great Lara Croft. Because who played Lara Croft before this? It was the first Lara Croft was Angelina Jolie, and the second was Alicia Vikander. Both of them kind of failed. I've never watched the Alicia Vikander Tomb Raider, so I can't really judge how good she is. But this girl here, like she even has an accent. Like she has. I think Vikander had an accent too. Angelina Jolie put on a fake British accent. But I was like, if they want to try another Tomb Raider movie, I'd suggest that they cast this girl, this woman. I'm sorry, she's a grown woman. I think she's like maybe late 30s, early 40s. I think, but that might be a thing that holds her back. But if she was like she could be like a more older, experienced Lara Croft. You know, she could be that. You know, but she I think she would be a good Lara Croft. I think she would work. But yeah, that's the whole first part of this movie. Another thing about this movie, like this movie felt like this is how I felt in the theater watching it. It was like this movie felt like a superhero movie that came out in 2007. It was like on the cusp. It was like on the cusp of like the MCU being built. You know, like it has elements of both when they didn't care too much about superhero movies, and it also has that first year MCU comic book accuracy. You know, it's like right there. It's right there in that sweet spot where it's like, oh, it's like it has the tone. Like the tone is the tone of a comic book movie from 2007, but it also has like that comic book accuracy to where like all the heroes are in like their comic book accurate costumes. They're all in their comic book accurate costumes. They're all doing their powers from the comic book. It's not like they're trying to be cool and not say like, hey, Hawkman, it's not like they say like, let's do a Hawkman without his wings, you know. Like because at the beginning of the movie, Hawkman is not even in costume. Like he's in like this kind of like African garb or something like that. He's in a dashiki, kind of like he's in a dashiki. Like Hawkman, Carter Hall, aka Hawkman, is wearing a dashiki at the beginning when we first see him. And they could have just went with that. And he put like a domino mask on his face, and he's like, oh, he doesn't have wings, he has a jetpack, you know, and that's why his nickname is Hawkman, you know, and he's got a hawk symbol on the jetpack or some shit like that. They could have done that. But they didn't. Like, he's in full comic book Hawkman garb. Dr. Fate looks like Dr. Fate. Atom Smasher looks like Atom Smasher. They even got Cyclone. She looks like Cyclone, except for the race swap, because in the comic book she's white. Like, here they made her black. I don't know how they do. And she's a redhead, too. That's another thing. Like, why do they do this? There was somebody else that pointed this shit out. I recently watched a video about. It was like a British chick. I forgot her name, so because I wanted to shout her out. She makes like pretty good videos, but I wanted to shout her out. I forgot her name, but like she was talking about how they have you ever noticed that every time they want to race swap a character from black to white, or from white to black, excuse me, when they want to race swap a character from white to black, they always use redhead characters. You know, Mary Jane, Iris West, Ariel from The Little Mermaid recently, and now Cyclone, because Cyclone in the comics is a redhead white girl. Here she's a black girl with like curly red hair, so they just totally race swap that character. They race swapped Hawkman too, like, because in the comic books Carter Hall is a white dude, but it makes more sense that he's black in this movie. I didn't mind that at all. I didn't mind Carter Hall, Hawkman, being black in this movie, because it made sense, because Hawkman is supposed to be of Egyptian lore. Like, he's supposed to be kind of like an Egyptian god, so it makes sense. It makes sense for Hawkman to be black, so I didn't have a problem with that. But let's get to the rest of this movie. Dwayne Johnson does a passable job as Black Adam. Like, he's not too over the top, yet he's not boring either. But this is the thing, like, he wasn't my favorite character in the movie. He was not my favorite character in the movie. My favorite characters in the movie were the JSA. I love the Justice Society of America in this movie. I enjoyed every time they were on screen, like, especially Aldous Hodge and Pierce Brosnan as Hawkman and Dr. Fate. Like, they were like the highlights of this movie. They look cool. Because I was afraid for Pierce Brosnan, because Pierce Brosnan's like 70. I want to say, I think he's 70. Like, Pierce Brosnan's like 70 years old. And when they said that they cast Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, and I'm a Dr. Fate fan. I like the character of Dr. Fate. I like the character of Kent Nelson. I like his powers. I like what he could do. So when I was kind of hoping for a younger guy to play him, but like at least a guy in like his 50s, to play him, because Kent Nelson is a little bit older, but he's not that old, but when they said they cast Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate, I was a little skeptical. I was a little skeptical, because I was like, man, Pierce Brosnan's pretty fucking old. Is he gonna pull off being a superhero at 70? But he pulls it off. He's like I say, he's one of the highlights of the movie. Like, he's doing all the, because like he has a helmet on. So he's not really doing all the stunts. He's in the costume. He looks good in the costume too, because like there's sometimes when he takes the helmet off and he's just in the costume. He looks good in the costume. He doesn't look like an old man in a costume. He doesn't look like an old man playing superhero. He actually looks like a superhero. So like they quelled my doubts with that. And like I said, ended up loving his character and Aldous Hodge's character of Hawkman above all the other characters. They were the best characters in this movie. Like, I wouldn't mind, like I said, I wouldn't mind seeing a Justice Society movie. Maybe they're setting that up, but like, if there's a Justice Society movie, like, one ticket for me. I would enjoy seeing a whole movie about that team, because I enjoyed the fuck out of the Justice Society. They're my favorite parts of this movie. I wish they had another member, because there's only 4. Because you got Hawkman, who's the leader. You got Dr. Fate. Then you got Atom Smasher and Cyclone. And Cyclone and Atom Smasher are kind of like the junior members of the team. Like they're kind of like the because this mission is like their first mission. So I'm like, who else was in the Justice Society before this? If Because you got Hawkman, who's pretty established. He seems pretty established. You got Dr. Fate, who's pretty established. Who else? Who else is in there? They didn't have the Sandman, like the Sandman that used to have the gas gun. They didn't have. They could have put what's my boy name? God dang it, the cat guy. I forgot his name. Damn, he was the cat suit. He looks like a big like cat. He was like a black cat suit. I forgot his goddamn name. I can't believe I forgot his name. They could have put Power Girl. I guess they didn't want to put Power Girl in there for reasons because like she could probably go toe to toe with Black Adam because they got to fight Black Adam because they're brought in to fight Black Adam, and like Power Girl being there, she'll probably like she could go toe to toe with him because like she's got kind of like the same powers as Black Adam. So like it wouldn't. I guess it was smart to kind of leave her out. You could put her in later. She could join the Justice Society later. I'm trying to think of other members of the Justice Society. There's a Stargirl show already. They couldn't do that. Trying to think who else could have been in there. Like Alan. They could have had Alan. What's his name? The first Green Lantern. I forgot it. I'm forgetting people's names right now. I'm getting old. You know, I'm getting fucking old. I'm forgetting people's names. But Alan Scott. That's his name. They could have had the Alan Scott Green Lantern in there, I guess. They could have had the Jay Garrick Flash in there or something. You know, there's other members of the Justice Society that they could have used. You know, but just to have four and like just having two of them be junior members was kind of offset the team a little bit. And like Atom Smasher's funny. He's but like him and Cyclone are kind of useless. Sorry to say they're kind of useless. They're just used for action scenes. And like I said, Atom Smasher's used for comedy. He's like the comic relief of the team. Like he comes in for an action scene, and Cyclone purely used for CGI and action scenes because like her powers are just so like spectacular, you know. And it looks pretty, you know. Her every time she turns into like the little cyclone, they do it in like slow motion and shit like that. They show her in slow motion and stuff like that. It's pretty, and she's a pretty girl, you know. Like the girl that plays her, she's a pretty girl, but she didn't add much. She didn't add much to the movie, you know. But I love the team in general. I love that team in general. The movie had great action. Like the actions, all the action scenes were top notch. To me, there wasn't like one action scene in this movie I was like, man, can this be over with? You know, it was over with. Like a lot of the action scenes were over with before you even knew it. You know, and it was just kind of like, oh, they're done, and then they move on to the next action scene, and then it was a very action packed movie. Like this movie did not bore me. Let's just say that this movie did not bore me. The side characters are kind of weak, though. Side characters are weak as fuck. Like I said, Sarah Sahai, who plays Adriana Tomaz, she's tolerable. She's the most tolerable out of all the side characters. Like, she's probably the best of the side characters because, like, she has a story. They kind of build her up. Like she has like this big dialogue towards the end of the movie when because she's trying to protect Black Adam really from the Justice Society, and the Justice Society is like, hey, you can't have him here, he's like destroying stuff, he's like, we can't have him here. And she's pretty much kind of like, it's kind of like I want to say it's kind of a jab to America, you know, how America sends troops into these foreign countries, and they're like, oh, we're trying to protect freedom, but they're just like, hey, when stuff goes down with us, you're never here. You know, kind of like the stuff that's going on in I don't think I can't really speak on it. Like the stuff that's going on, I think it's going on in Iran. You know, like they got their own little stuff going on in Iran, and like America's not really there. You know, like the stuff that's going on in Ukraine. I know we're trying to get involved with that, but we're really not involved in that. You know, so like it was kind of like a commentary on that, like these American superheroes coming in to stop this foreign superhero, or foreign, what they think is a foreign menace, by the way, is what they think is a foreign menace. They're trying to stop him, but she was like, because like Intergang is here, who is in the comics. There's this group called Intergang. They're like this international crime syndicate. Intergang has been in their country for decades, and no superhero has showed up to stop them. Because she brings that up. She said, she was like, Intergang has been here for years, and this is the first time I've seen you in this country. Pretty much is what she said. She's like, this is the first time I've seen you guys in this country, like, to stop Black Adam. Like, you're never here. You're not here. You weren't here when Intergang started taking over and enslaving this country. You know, like, so like, I'm like, she makes a good fucking point, and it kind of makes the Justice Society look stupid, you know, a little bit, because they're just standing there, because like she has this big speech, and the Justice Society is just standing there. They're like, damn, maybe we are fucked up. They were kind of like, right? It kind of made them think, you know. But yeah, like, she's the best of the side characters. Her brother was okay too. Like, I think he tried too hard to be funny to the point to where it got annoying. Cause like he just kept trying. They just kept trying to do gags with him, like the sitting in the car singing songs thing. Like, I didn't really find that funny. Like they kept trying to bring that gag back every so often to try to make it funny, and I didn't really find it funny, you know, because he'd be sitting in the car, he'd be sitting in the car singing like "Baby Come Back." That was like his favorite song. Baby, they would have him singing "Baby Come Back," like "Baby Come Back." He'd be saying "Baby Come Back, you can bring it all on me," or something like that. He was singing, and and like they just kept trying to make that a running gag, and it's not fucking funny. There was another thing they tried to make a running gag with him, where like Dr. Fate tells him how he dies, you know, and he was just like, every time he would get in the danger, like, wait, this is not how I die. Hold on. He was like, don't worry about it. He was like, Dr. Fate already told me how I died. It's not today. And he just like, you know, so they just kept trying to make that. They just kept trying to make that a running gag too. But yeah, he tried too hard to be funny. But he wasn't the most annoying character. It was Adriana's son. Adriana's son, oh my goddamn nerves. Like, he had probably the worst dialogue in this whole movie. He had the worst dialogue in this whole movie. Like, and then he would do stuff. He would do stuff that didn't make any sense and would put the heroes in more danger. Like, he took the crown. Like this is a MacGuffin, the crown that the Intergang is looking for. And like they're supposed to summon something. I'll tell you about it later. But like the crown is the MacGuffin, pretty much. That's what the villains want. And he took the crown and he start running away with it, and then he gets his little ass kidnapped, and now the Justice Society got to go and save him. And you know, so they're just like, fuck, man. They're like, fuck, man, we trying to contain Black Adam, and then his fucking kids running around with this goddamn crowd, and Intergang fucking kidnaps him, and now we gotta go fucking save his ass now from Intergang. They're like, They were stressed. Like, I felt sorry for the JSA. They were like, we are fucking stressed out here, bro. They were like, but yeah, man, he just kept doing shit. They kept putting Black Adam and the JSA in more danger. And this kid is probably the reason why we'll never see a Robin again on the big screen. Probably because he just made a good case for why kid sidekicks are annoying. He made a great case for why kid sidekicks are annoying. I was like, oh my God, why you do this? I was looking at this kid. I was like, we ain't never gonna see Robin now, because this kid just made kid sidekicks fucking annoying. And it's not his fault. It's the writers. They wrote corny dialogue for this kid. They wrote corny fucking dialogue for this kid. And because I could probably see him in something else and he'd probably be great in it. But I just want to see Robin on the big screen. That's all I want. Because, and this kid probably fucked it up. Not him, the writers. The writers writing for this kid probably fucked it up. They was like, man, this is why we don't want to see kids sidekicks, because of shit like this. But yeah, let's move on to the villains. The villains are so fucking weak. Intergang, they're just a bunch of faceless goons that Black Adam just kills and the JSA just beats up. And then the main villain is one of those villains that you could see coming miles away. And the first time I saw this guy, I was like, that dude's the bad guy. I was like the first time I saw this dude, I was like, yeah, he's the villain. That dude. And then when it turns out he's the villain, I was like, I wasn't even shocked. I was like, oh, he's the villain. Oh no, what a shock. But, and then at the end, he turns into this big CGI demon that Black Adam and the JSA have to end up fighting. Because he gets the crown from the kid. He gets the crown and he puts the crown on his head. And then he turns into the goddamn, eventually he turns into the goddamn demon. Because I think first you got to get sent to hell first. You got to get sent to hell. And then you come back. Then you emerge as the demon. And that's what happened to him. He got sent to hell. And then he emerged as the demon. So he was just a big CGI blob that they had to fucking fight at the end. Which I felt like that whole third act was unnecessary. I really did. Because the second act was the best part of this whole movie. Because it wrapped everything up in this nice, neat little bow to where you're like, if this is the end of the movie, I'm fine with that. You're like, this would be a perfect ending. But nah, we gotta fight the big CGI demon guy and his CGI zombie henchmen, which are the most useless henchmen ever. It's Intergang is just gone after a while. Intergang just disappears. And he shows up with these goddamn zombies. With these fucking undead zombie henchmen. They look like something out of fucking Clash of the Titans or some shit. 1980s Clash of the Titans. They look like fucking Jason and the Argonauts or some shit like that. They look like some shit like that. And they're taken out so fucking easily. They're useless as fuck. They didn't even need to be there, because it was kind of if you kill the demon, if you kill the demon, they just go away. There was no need for them. There really was no fucking need for them. But overall, I still think this is a fun popcorn movie. It was very enjoyable. It's one of those movies you don't really have to think too much about it. It's just a lot of great action. There's some funny parts. It ain't from the brother. Elders Hodge made me laugh a little bit. He had a couple scenes that made me laugh. Adam Smasher's legit funny. I thought he was legit funny. Even Even Pierce Brosnan and Dwayne Johnson got some good jokes up in there. They got some good yucks up in there. Like, they played it straight, but it was like, oh, that's funny. I like that. That's funny. But yeah, like I said, like Dwayne Johnson, Aldous Hodge, and Pierce Brosnan, like, they hold this movie together. I like the fact that, like, they take the source material seriously, and they just make the best out of it. You know, there is an end credit scene for anybody that hasn't seen this movie yet, which is why I don't really want to spoil it too much. I'll probably do like a spoiler review, or talk about the end credit scene like next week or something like that. You know, I'll probably do that. Probably go in depth or something like that. Probably do like a special episode for that next week, or this coming week. Like maybe like a Friday or Saturday or something like that. Like the Friday or Saturday, I might do that. Because like there is an end credit scene, and it's probably one of the best superhero movie end credit scenes that I've seen in a while from either company, like Marvel or DC, from both companies. Like, because I haven't heard the crowd erupt in joy for an end credit scene in a while now. Like, but this one got them excited. Like, they got excited for this one. It's a feel good end credit scene. It's like, which is something that Marvel hasn't done in a while now. You know, they haven't really hit you with a feel good end credit scene, where the end credit scene was like, oh wow, I wonder where this is fucking going. You know, I mean, personally, I enjoyed the Eternals end credit. Personally, I enjoyed that one with Star Fox and Pip. I enjoyed that one. Couldn't really enjoy the Blade one because you didn't know it was Blade until the director told you it was Blade. I think it was what's her name? God damn it. Chloe Zhao. I think it was Chloe Zhao at the end. She was like, yeah, that's Blade. She was like, she said at the end of it was she was like in I think it was an interview. It was an interview where they was asking like, is that Blade at the end? And she was like, yeah, that's Blade. She was like, and she just like confirmed it was Blade. And then you got to go back and be like, oh shit, that's Blade. You know, because you don't know that's Blade. Because like he's talking, he's off screen. You don't even like, it's Mahershala Ali's voice off screen talking to Kit Harington's character, and you don't know that that's him. But personally, I enjoyed the Star Fox and Pip one. I enjoyed that one because I'm like, I want to see what they do with those two fucking characters. I just want to see what they do with those characters. But this end credit scene right here for Black Adam, probably the most enjoyable and the most satisfying end credit scene you're gonna see. I've seen in a while. But yeah, overall, I give this movie a 3 out of 5. Like I said, there's flaws in it. Like, I don't like the first 20 minutes. I thought the first 20 minutes of this movie dragged. It's not a perfect movie. Like, the villains are weak. That kid got on my fucking nerves. Fucking hated that kid. But like I said, Dwayne Johnson did a passable job. He did a good job as Black Adam. I enjoyed Aldous Hodge and Pierce Brosnan and the other kids. I enjoyed the kids, the guy that played Adam Smasher and the chick that played Cyclone. I enjoyed them for what they were too. Like, the JSA are the highlights of this movie, and the action is really fucking good. Really good action scenes in this movie. Really good fight scenes in this movie. Really good action scenes in this movie. If you don't go for anything else, go for that. It's enjoyable as fuck. I give it a 3 out of 5. I'll be back with my review for Vampire in Brooklyn right after these messages.
For centuries, they have roamed the earth, fearsome creatures of the night, endlessly seeking to satisfy an unyielding hunger. Now, the world's last vampire is about to encounter something infinitely more terrifying than himself. Brooklyn.
Interesting. I've been stabbed, and I've been hanged. Even broken on the rack once, but I've never been shot before. It kind of itches a little.
Paramount Pictures presents
If you're hungry, I'll run you down to KFC down the street and hit you off with a 2-piece.
I already had Italian.
Eddie Murphy,
Do I look like I would bite you?
Angela Bassett,
You bet not. Not after the day I've had.
Eddie Murphy,
Everything, come on, move it! Yeah, right. There's a lot of love in this room. Look at this.
and Eddie Murphy.
Bottom line, brothers and sisters, what I'm trying to tell you tonight is that evil is good. Let me hear y'all say it. Evil is good. That's right.
If he fails here,
Quickest way to a woman's heart is through the church.
It's actually through the rib cage, but that's a bit messy.
being undead
You got the dropsies.
won't be worth living.
I'm a cop. If you try anything funny, I'll shoot you.
Women.
Vampire in Brooklyn.
I would love to have you for dinner.
Vampire in Brooklyn from 1995. Let's get into the technical first. This movie was directed by Wes Craven. The screenplay was written by Charlie Murphy, Michael Looker, and Chris Parker. Yes, Charlie Murphy had a role in writing the screenplay, who is Eddie Murphy's older brother. The budget for this movie was $14 million. It brought in $35 million at the box office, that's okay. That's pretty good. The Rotten Tomatoes score is 12% though. It's a 12% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Some fun facts about this movie. According to Charlie Murphy, like, the movie was originally going to be a straight horror film. Like, he didn't like, there wasn't going to be any comedy in here at all. But Wes Craven of all people, Charlie Murphy, the comedian, wanted it to be a straight horror film with like no laughs. But Wes Craven, the guy that does horror, wanted it to be a comedy. Like, he kind of changed everything up. He was like, nah, let's put some comedy in here. You guys, you're the comedy guys. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later in this review about what I think about that. But that's what he did. Like, this is also in the middle of the smooth Eddie era, as I like to call it, the smooth Eddie Murphy era. This is like when like Eddie Murphy was trying to transition into like being a suave ladies man, like a suave leading man, you know, because I really think that like that started with like Harlem Nights. Does a little bit of Coming to America, but I don't count that. He's a little bit goofy in Coming to America, but it really started off with like Harlem Nights. He does do another 48 Hours in the middle of this. He does another movie before that, doesn't he? I think he does another Beverly Hills Cop in the middle of this. Yeah, he does Beverly Hills Cop 3 in the middle of this. But he also does Boomerang, another suave leading man. He does the Distinguished Gentleman in the middle of this, and then he does Vampire in Brooklyn, like, which is Vampire in Brooklyn is kind of like the end of that era. It's like, this is kind of like the purgatory of that era. It's like when he like starts going towards the family friendly route after this with Doc Doolittle. A lot of people consider Nutty Professor like a family friendly film too, but like that movie, I reviewed that movie like a couple years ago, and I'm like, that movie's not family friendly at all. You know, it's PG-13, but I don't think it's all that family friendly. He does some shit in there I was like, that kids ain't really supposed to be fucking seeing. But, you know, but yeah, okay, family friendly. Everybody says it starts with Nutty Professor, but even when I was doing my research, they were saying like, yeah, his family friendly movies start with Nutty Professor. I'm like, Nutty Professor's not a family friendly movie at all. But anyway, that's what they want to say. That's what they want to fucking say. Fuck it. Let's talk about how I saw this movie as a kid. I was like, this is another one of those like cut and dry ones where I was just like, I just saw this movie with my parents one time on cable. I think it came on like HBO one night, and we just sat down and watched it. I remember not caring for it too much. I remember not really liking it all that much. I was like, Eddie Murphy as a vampire, get the fuck out of here, man. You know, like, I was like, you know, that's how I felt about it. I was like, I don't want to see Eddie Murphy as no goddamn vampire. I was like, I was a little bit older here. I was like 10. I think I was 10 years. I was 10 years old here. So I was like, I don't see Eddie Murphy no fucking vampire. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? But anyway, let's see how I feel about this movie as an adult. The opening of this movie is like all over the place. First off, the opening of this movie is like all over the goddamn place because they're trying to build tension at the beginning of this movie with this boat that's about to like crash through the Brooklyn Harbor. Like, it's just crashing. It's just like crashing through smaller boats and just crashing through little like ports and stuff like that. And you have John Witherspoon and Kadeem Hardison cracking jokes in the middle of that. Like, funny jokes, but they're cracking jokes in the middle of that, and it kind of kills the tension. Cause like they got this music where it's like do 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 and all this shit, and then like you got like John Witherspoon saying some stuff like, "Oh yeah, she mighty fine, you know, doing his pop shit." He like yickety bang 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 and all this shit, right? But you guys doing his stuff, and then Kadeem Hudson like, man, what's going on here, man? You know, like, you doing all that shit, and it kind of kills the tension of what's gonna happen, you know, because like the boat's about to crash into them, but they're cracking fucking jokes, and it comes to a point to where like you don't want to see these characters fucking die because they're so goddamn funny, you know, like, you know, it starts to come like, I don't want to see them die, they funny. Why would I don't want to see funny people die. Why would I want to do that? Why do I want to see that? And John Witherspoon is hilarious. John Witherspoon is hilarious in the first couple minutes of this movie. He's hilarious throughout this whole movie. Because he's throughout the movie, and he says some shit up in here. That just got me cracking the fuck up. You know, like when he was talking to, I'm giving it away now. Like when he was talking to one of the cops that are in the movie, played by Alan Payne, and he was talking about Angela Bassett, and when he was saying like oh yeah, he up in there, he was tapping that top shelf booty. I cracked the fuck up. I cracked up. John Witherspoon, fucking hilarious throughout this whole movie, but this is supposed to be a horror movie, so him being funny is out of place. Because some scary shit happening, and John Witherspoon do some shit that make you laugh your fucking ass off. And you like, I forgot I was supposed to be scared. You know? It like that, and that continues to be a problem throughout this whole movie where you're just like, dude, this is scary. And then somebody say something funny and you're like, I forgot I was supposed to be scared. I forgot I was supposed to be fucking scared throughout this whole goddamn movie. Because you got John Witherspoon cracking me the fuck up throughout this whole movie. You got Kadeem Hardison cracking me the fuck up throughout this whole movie. You even got Eddie Murphy and cracking me the fuck up in this whole movie. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be scared, motherfucker. I'm not supposed to be laughing uncontrollably. But, you know, and like, we also see the shadow of Eddie Murphy's vampire character. He turns into an animal, which is not a vampire bat. He turns into a wolf. Like, shouldn't he be a werewolf instead of a vampire if that's the case? Because a wolf, he turns from a wolf into a man. But he's a fucking vampire. He should have turned into a vampire bat. Right? That's the thing? That's what it should be? I don't know, man. This movie, it doesn't make any fucking sense. But Eddie Murphy appears as Maximilian. And when I say, like, he appears, like, he really fucking appears, like, out of thin air. And his accent is fucking terrible. It's terrible. I guess he's trying to be a Caribbean vampire, but, like, his regular accent, like, just outdoes the fake accent. It's like his regular New York accent and his Caribbean accent are, like, fighting each other. You know, like, they're just, like, trying to jockey for position, and, like, they just keep getting mixed up in each other. You know, but he comes in and he appears to save Kadeem Hardison's character from, like, these two Italian stereotypes that he owes money. One of them is Mulder and Scully's boss from the X-Files. You know, like, one of them is that guy. But so, like, he kills those guys. And you think, like, oh, he saved Kadeem Hardison. But no, he ends up turning him into, like, one of his, like, prison bitch zombie guys. Like, he turns him into, like, a fucking zombie servant or some shit like that. Then we're introduced to the two detectives played by Angela Bassett and Alan Payne. Like, I'll get more into their characters as they go along, because, like, these are two characters that take time to build, and they're kind of essential to the story. So, got to talk about them a little bit later. But Max is looking for his tomb and his vampire bride, which is a reincarnated version of Angela Bassett. Which, I was looking at this movie because, like, going into this movie, I was just starting to look at this movie and I was thinking about this movie and the way it's set up. In a way, this movie kind of reminds me of a vampire version of Coming to America. Hear me out. Eddie Murphy's character is a fish out of water character with a bad accent. He has a comedic sidekick who rents out a shitty apartment for him, and he's trying to find his bride. Sounds like Coming to America to me, just with more killing. You know, that's it. Like, that's what it sounds like. He's like, just add murder into it, and it's Coming to America. Kadeem Hardison's character, like, starts looking like a crackhead, like, cause I don't know, I had like a Mandela effect of how he turned into a zombie, because I thought that Eddie Murphy bit him and turned him into a zombie. Because, like, if you remember Blade, remember in Blade, because, like, one of the vampires bites that surgeon guy, and he just turns into, he's not really dead, he just turns into a fucking zombie. Cause, like, he's at the end of Blade, and he's just a fucking zombie because they bit his ass. And, like, cause, like, they bit him and he didn't die, but he didn't turn into a vampire either. I I don't know why I thought this in my head. I had a Mandela effect about this shit. I always thought that Eddie Murphy's character bit Kadeem Hardison's character, and that's how he turned into a zombie. But no, he just takes his blood, like he nicks himself with his fang, and takes his blood and puts it in Kadeem Hardison's mouth, and that's how he turns into a zombie. But like he starts looking like a fucking crackhead. Like he got like body parts falling off and shit, and it just starts looking gross. Like he loses his ear, he loses an arm, and like nobody's alarmed by this shit. Like John Witherspoon sees this shit too. Who plays like John Witherspoon is like pretty much like Kadeem Hardison's uncle, and John Witherspoon is not alarmed by this shit at all. He's not alarmed by the fact that his nephew is out here looking like stir-fried shit. Like pretty much he's out here looking like Pookie from New Jack City, you know. And he's not alarmed by this. He's not alarmed by the fact that his nephew's losing body parts and shit. You know, he just doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck at all. Angela Bassett also has a horny roommate named Nikki. Like something else they pulled from Coming to America, because remember the horny sister Latrice, you know, like so like we get a version of that here, but Nikki is over the top horny, like she over the top horny, she like porn star horny, like she even talks like a porn star, like it's kind of like a thing where like she's just like, because like she comes on the Alan Payne's character like pretty fucking strong, you know? So like she just met this man, and all of a sudden like she started like kissing on his man neck and shit, and he's like, yo, I don't move like that, you know? Like he like back the fuck up. I just met you like 5 minutes ago, you know? And like she's super horny. But anyway, Max kills her horny ass, you know? Like, he kills the fuck out of her. Did I mention that Eddie Murphy does funny makeup characters in this movie also? Well, he does funny makeup characters in this movie also. Like, Preacher Paulie. Like, Preacher Paulie is pretty much a prototype of Sherman Klump. He even sounds like Sherman Klump. He doing this, he doing all the fucking fat guy voice and shit. And, like, this movie does have, like I said, this movie has some funny jokes, man. Like, it has some funny jokes, because, like, the whole Preacher Paulie shit cracked me the fuck up. He's like, ass is good. Ain't nothing wrong with it and getting a little ass. You know, you're evil and ass. You get yourself a piece of evil ass. Woo! You know, like, it's funny. There's some funny shit in here. Like, which would be good if Eddie Murphy wasn't trying to be serious in this movie. Like, I felt sorry for him, because this was supposed to be the movie where he could show his acting range, but Wes Craven wouldn't let him do that shit. You know, Wes Craven wouldn't let him do it. And like, that's pretty much, and that, especially back then, it's kind of, I'm like, it's not really the case now, but back then, that was the story for a lot of black comedians. Like, a lot of black comedians didn't get to show the range that Hollywood lets white comedians show. You know, like Jim Carrey and Robin Williams got the crossover into drama. Like, they wouldn't let Eddie Murphy do that. Like, which is why I applaud someone like Jamie Foxx who was able to do it. You know, and now he's known more, he's not even known for his stand-up. Like, he's known more for his acting. You know, like people, I don't think a lot of people even know that Jamie Foxx is a stand-up comedian. He's a stand-up comedian. Like, he had a fucking sitcom in the 90s. I don't think a lot of people knew that. I don't think even a lot of his like contemporaries know that. Like, people that he acts with. I don't think they even knew. They're like, wait, you're a stand-up comic? What the fuck? They're probably like, they probably didn't even know he was a stand-up comedian. But like, he's such a good actor that you wouldn't know he used to be a stand-up comedian. And still kind of is a stand-up comedian. He doesn't do stand-up very often, but he does things in the stand-up realm. But yeah, man, like they didn't let, but like that's something they wouldn't let Eddie Murphy do. They wouldn't let Eddie Murphy cross over. It had to take Dreamgirls to be like, hey man, this guy can do drama, you know. So like, just give them a chance, man. Just give them a fucking chance. Just give him a chance. And because even like he'll take a movie like, because even he took a movie like Dolomite Is My Name, you know, and he had some serious acting chops in that. I thought he was pretty good in that also. I thought he should have been nominated. A lot of people thought he should have been nominated for an Oscar for that. You know, there was like, Eddie Murphy should have been nominated for Dolomite Is My Name. Like, he really should have. But they didn't for some reason. But anyway, let's move on. Angela Bassett and Alan Payne, like, they have like this sexual tension between them, which is really like a obstacle for Maximilian, which is Eddie Murphy's character. It's kind of like an obstacle for him because deep down, Angela Bassett likes Alan Payne's character. She's got a crush on him, and he kind of got a crush on her too, but they don't want to complicate things because they're both cops and they're partners, you know. But Maximilian he's like kind of cock blocking Alan Payne too, because like the way that Max gets Rita finally is like really stalker like he turns into all these people, and then he like kind of finds out what the fuck she likes, and he lies and says that Alan Payne's character fucked her roommate and shit. Like, they keep bringing that up, you know, as a barrier between what's their character's name? Rita and Justice. Yeah, Angela Bassett's character's name Rita. Alan Payne's character's name Justice. It's a barrier between Rita and Justice, you know. So like he does that. But let's talk about Kadeem Hardison, man. Kadeem Hardison is pretty fucking hilarious in this movie, man, as well as the ghoul guy. But like I say, that dude is just clutch. That dude is a clutch performer in whatever he's in. That goes for Angela Bassett as well. Like, Kadeem Hardison, Angela Bassett, and John Witherspoon, clutch. All three of them clutch in this movie. You know, like, they're just really fucking good in this movie. And they're good in a movie. They give their 100% to a movie that they really shouldn't be giving 100% to. But that's the professionalism, and I love it. I love it. Rita kind of stupid, though. Rita kind of dumb, because like she's supposed to be a cop, right? And like she doesn't notice anything suspicious about Max, especially the way he looks. I'm like, this motherfucker looks like a vampire. Like, what dude looks like that even in 1995? What dude looks like that in 1995? Like, he looks pretty out of fucking place. But he has a limo, so he's cool, right? You know, all her inhibitions, like, go down. All her, like, fucking shields come down when Maximilian tells her that he has a fucking limo. You know, so it's just like, because she's like, oh, no, we can't be doing it. And then he said, I got a limo. She's like, oh, well, all right, then. You know, so that mean you got money. You know, so it's just like that fucking instinct just popping her head. Like, this motherfucker could be fucking Jeffrey Dahmer. This motherfucker could be Ted Bundy. All the goddamn serial killers. And if he would have said, I got a limo, I got money, they go with him. Like, she would go with him. Like, she would go with him. I said they. She would go with him. She ain't no pronoun. But, you know, she would go with him. And I was like, that's kind of stupid of her. That's kind of dumb of her. But yeah, man, that part didn't make any fucking sense to me. But they had to get her to Max somehow. I guess that was the way to do it. But Maximilian's powers are very inconsistent as well. Because like when I said he jumped off the ship as a wolf, he turned to a man. Like, that was inconsistent because he should have been a fucking bat. I'm still a little butthurt about that. I'm a little irked by that. And then at one point he's ripping people's hearts out. Then he's biting some people, but not everyone. Because I think he even tells Kadeem Hardison, he was like, Kadeem Hardison, like, hey man, you gonna bite me or something? And he's like, no, I don't. I think he's like, kind of like, no, I don't do that. But then he bites somebody. He bites Angela Bassett. He bites this white lady, played by Jerry Hall, actually. You don't know who Jerry Hall is. Jerry Hall is one of Mick Jagger's ex-wives. He bites Jerry Hall. Right? And I'm like, are you a fucking vampire or not, motherfucker? You're like, what do you do? Are you biting some people and then you're not biting other people? You're like, I don't fucking get it. Like, pick a power and stick with it, goddammit. Pick a fucking power and stick with it. Like, this movie just all over the fucking place. It really is. It's all over the goddamn place. Overall, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that, with the acting. Like I said, the acting's really good. Like I said, like Kadeem Hardison, Angela Bassett, John Witherspoon, even Alan Payne. Which I don't enjoy Alan Payne a lot. You know, I don't enjoy Alan Payne a lot, but he's not bad in this movie. He's actually pretty good in this movie. He's clutch as well. I'm gonna give it to him too. He clutch. The story, it's just the story, man. The story is very clunky, and it doesn't know if it wants to be funny or serious. Like the last 40 minutes. The last 40 minutes of this movie is actually a pretty good horror movie. Like, the last 40 minutes, like, is actual horror. There's no funny ha-ha bullshit going on for a little bit. None of that. It's a straight up horror film. But it's a little too late after that. It's a little too fucking late. And for that, originally I was going to give it a 3 out of 5, but I'm thinking about it. A lot of this shit pissed me off too much to give it a 3 out of 5. I give it a 2 out of 5. God damn it. This is getting a 2 out of 5. Watch it if you want to. You know, just to see how silly this fucking movie is. Because it's a silly fucking movie. It really is silly. Made me laugh uncontrollably, even though it's supposed to be a fucking horror movie. Made me laugh. But yeah, 2 out of 5. That's it. Join me next week when I review 1991's The Addams Family. Until next time, peace.